What is up, everybody? I'm Shatima.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Jason.
And this is Raw Talk. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you don't know already, we are a married couple whose mission is to help couples restore their marriages after experiencing infidelity.
Yeah, that's what we do. I mean, we are the king and queen of marriage restoration after infidelity.
Yes, we are. We like to use our own personal experience to help you guys, to just give you guys some tidbits on what we did to restore our marriage and how we got to the place of having a real, active, and a whole marriage.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you, how did your week go? Because off the time, this is what we do. This is one of the things we do to help keep it fresh, keep the passion alive, and keep the fire going. We do like check-ins. We don't call it a check-in, but we just keep, check in with each other, just see how we were feeling, like, how you feeling as a husband, how you feeling as a wife.
Mm-hmm.
So babe, how you been feeling as a wife? I say this week.
This week, I've been feeling pretty good. When it comes to our relationship, I feel like, we've had a pretty good week. We had a great time last night. We had a date night. We try to have a date night like once a week.
Mm-hmm.
So last night we went to Applebee's, and I feel like it was a great culmination to a busy week. It helped us to reconnect, to just spend some one-on-one time as husband and wife, and just as best friends. So I feel great about this week. How about you?
Yeah, me too, definitely. And let me tell you guys, it's very important. I'd say throughout your marriage, as well as starting out or whatever phase that you're in, to always keep on dating each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't ever let it get so like stale and just routine to the point where it's just like all you guys do is in the house dealing with the kids, dealing with the kids if you have kids, or just the same routine all the time. Like, keep it spicy. Come on, I mean, it's the let's keep that fire going.
Keep it going.
Yeah, yes. Definitely. And as she said, so as my beautiful wife said, you looking amazing this evening, by the way.
Thank you.
We had a very busy week. Well, we've had busy weeks, as being business partners and life partners and parents to 6 kids, husband and wife, and just, it's just busy, a lot going on. So we have to press the pause button and just be intentional about spending time with each other and, checking in, make sure your girl is good. I mean, you just got to do it. So,
thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
And I will say that Jason is very good with that, with checking in. And just being in tune to my feelings. Like, if I'm having a not very good day or stressful week, I would say I'll give you props and say you're pretty good at noticing that, recognizing that.
Yeah. I don't want to take the credit. See, I'm not going to take the credit for that because I feel like it's different. It makes all the difference when you have like a serious relationship with God, like an intimate relationship with God, and you spend time with Him on a regular basis, because it'll be like, it's not even you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll have, I'm going to say divine intervention, because you'll be able to pick up on things that normally, if you're being led by the Holy Spirit, like He will drop things into your spirit. He'll give you that keen sense of intuition that is beyond your physical capabilities, So I can't take the credit for that. I give God all the glory for that, because He does, the more I spend time with Him, He does keep me in tune with my wife. So that's a plug for the fellas, make sure you spend time with God, because it'll make everything different. Sometimes you might be like wondering, like, well, my wife, I just don't understand her, I just don't get her. But I'm telling you, it is not for us to get her, it's not for us to understand, but it's for us to live with and to be compassionate and empathetic to her. And the more you spend time with God, He'll just do it. I can't even say, exactly, but just do it. I'm telling you.
It does seem to make a big difference.
It does. Oh, so you plugging for the wives, letting them know?
Yes, I was just agreeing with you. Like, the more time that I see you spending with God, and that one-on-one alone time, it does spill over into, I will say, your countenance as a husband, and as a man, and as a father, everything, So that's why, yes, I'm agreeing that it's very important. Which, this, in the same token, I'm sure you can recognize you know, when I've been spending more time with God and really, you know, being intentional about my time with Him.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's why I be like I not I'm not gonna say push you, but I try to lead you in that direction. Like, babe, make sure you do your devotions, make sure you having that time with Him, because it is different. It is different, definitely.
Yeah.
Shout out to the power of the Holy Spirit one time. But yeah, so we wanted to talk about the continuing, like, because we know, like, when things first happen and it's fresh, it's a lot of feelings, a lot of hurt, a lot of regret, a lot of pain, a lot of anger, and also too a lot of attention. Like, people are there, like, oh my gosh, do you need anything, whatever, like. So moving on past that,
real quick, babe, for those of you who may not know what we're talking about after infidelity.
Yeah, like the initial, as soon as it happens. I'm talking about, like, when it's fresh and brand new, like, it seems like it's
all the feelings are raw. The emotions are raw.
And you have a lot of support. Like, it's a lot of support there. So, like, what I wanted to talk about is, like, the after, like, moving on from that, like, moving on now you're down the line, and how do you keep it on the right track versus getting derailed, like, well, you did this to me, and how do you keep out of that rut? Yeah, and a lot of people, they, like, because some people, it might not be a fresh thing, it might not have happened yesterday, it might have happened 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and it's still like a constant reoccurring thing. It's still it's still fresh to them.
I can say from a woman's standpoint, so as a woman, if your husband is the one that cheated, I know, what I needed and what was very important to me during that time was consistency from you. So, regardless if you feel like, oh, I've apologized so many times already before, you're still not over it. It could be weeks, maybe it could be months, it could be possibly years. I feel like the most important thing that your wife needs from you in that time is consistency of you backing up your word, that you're repentant and apologetic about it, that you feel horrible about it. For one, we need that consistency. You're in your actions and you backing that up, and you be consistently showing us, like, yes, I am apologetic. Not saying that we have you by a string just because of that. We're operating like that you're a puppet. No, what I'm saying is consistency in the sense, like, okay, I told her, I'm gonna commit to taking her out more because this helps her to feel secure. Okay, so that doesn't mean do it 1 or 2 times and then stop. No, you need to be consistent in that and stick to it, to show her that you're serious about moving forward, about helping her to move forward, helping you guys as a unit to move forward, and to really heal, and giving her that time. But we have to see that consistency before we can even allow ourselves to even move on, if you will, to even begin the moving on process.
Yeah, I agree. Consistency, definitely, because if you understand, like, the severity of the matter of the issue, the infidelity, I'm gonna say it's like a traumatic injury to your relationship, right, to your marriage. So it's gonna take time to heal that, right? And it's gonna be certain aspects and elements that it takes in order to nurture that healing. And consistency is, like, one of the biggest things, because it shows that you are truly sincere about repairing the injury that was caused. And I mean, if it's like a wavering thing, like one day it's this, one day it's that, new things coming back up, or like repeating the same behavior, that is definitely not gonna aid in repairing the injury to the marriage. If anything, it'll hinder it, possibly end it. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna have to be consistent. And I understand, like, that it might be frustrating if you feel like you're doing the right things and you don't see the results. Like, well, feel like we should be further along. At this time, I'm not doing anything, and it's been a month. Yeah, you. I don't mean to laugh, but you just gonna have to keep on
But
doing it.
surprisingly, you actually have guys who think like that. Like, okay, I said sorry. I've been saying sorry for the past month. She needs to just get over it. No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no, ma'am. No ham, no turkey.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's gonna take consistent effort over time, because especially like, let's say if you, well, I say either way, if you've been doing the wrong thing, it's gonna take time for somebody to believe that you are now sincere about
Exactly.
doing the right thing. But also too, if you did something to injure it, like if let's say y'all felt like everything was good and now this infidelity came about, the spouse is going to question, like, was it really good? Because if it was, then that wouldn't have happened, right? So now you have to show a track record of consistency to prove that, look, I'm a trustworthy person. Because trust is built over time. It could be lost in an instance, but it's built over time.
Yeah.
You know, so
definitely.
it might be discouraging, or you might feel like you're not making any headway. But I'm telling you, if you are consistent in doing the right things to repair your marriage, it might take time, but it will heal. Because it's a wound. You know, it's a wound to your relationship.
I know one of the main, the most asked questions, or the biggest issues that women express to me, you know, that I coach and stuff, is that, okay, you know, I've forgiven him, or, you know, things have actually been good between us, but I just personally cannot seem to let it go. You know, I can't seem to get a grip of myself when it comes to remembering and, you know, being triggered and stuff. So I feel like that's just definitely an area that the offender needs to be aware of, and needs to really put in the effort to like I guess partner with your spouse, knowing their triggers, knowing, you know, it may not make sense, but, you know, just, yeah, I just feel like, you know, knowing your partner's triggers and responding to that in a wise way, a wise and supportive way, is another very important aspect of the restoration journey.
Yeah, but also too, you gotta communicate the triggers, because you can't just expect someone to just know.
Yeah, that's why I said, yeah, okay, maybe I didn't say it, but I was thinking in my head, you know, having a conversation about that, you know, having for real nitty gritty convo about that, and that's actually one of the things that I discussed in my my book coming out. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Communication is going to be key. Even when you don't feel like it, or if you don't feel like it should be communicated, like, you know, because we could say like, well, the person should know, and I absolutely agree that there's some things that they should know. But there's going to be things that they don't know. And also, too, as you said, the triggers, because I know that for a fact that the enemy will try to get into your head, because if he gets into your head, gets into your mind, gets into your thoughts, then he can, you know, I'm going to say influence your actions, and, you know, even on yourself, too, because, you know, it could take a toll on you as far as health-wise, mental health wise, physical health wise, you know, because the thoughts will just continue to play in your head to the point to where you might obsess over it, and now you are mentally ill and also physically ill. So the feelings are justified, right? But there is a point to where it could be so consuming to where it'll, I'll say,
It's unhealthy.
Yeah, to drive you to the point of unhealthiness. And when well, yeah, I'm gonna say even before it gets to that point, you have to recognize that, you know, and take control of that. And also too, as the offender, you know, communicate, well, as the offended spouse, communicate those things to your spouse, like, hey, you know, this is how I'm feeling. And as the offended spouse, you have to do everything in your power to support your spouse through that. You know what I'm saying? Don't just leave him or her like, well, that's just how you feel, and those are your feelings. No. Do not do that. You know what I'm saying? Because you were the one that caused the action and caused the injury. So don't continue to be selfish and just leave your spouse like, oh, well, you should be over that by now. That's how you feel. No. Comfort them during that time. Whatever they need. You know, it might be thoughts, irrational thoughts. You know what I'm saying? That come to them, and instead of downplaying it, making them feel bad, making them feel ashamed of it, you know, respond accordingly in a sensitive manner and be empathetic to them and say, you know, hey, it's definitely not like that. I know it might have appeared like that, but that's not how it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, show empathy.
I equate the restoration process kind of like the stages of grief. You know, not in the same, maybe not the same order, but I think that you're really grieving. You're grieving, you know, the life that you had before. You're grieving the marriage you had before. You're grieving the husband that you had before, the wife you were before. So, along with grief comes, you know, sometimes, like Jason said, irrational thoughts. Along with the grief process comes along, you know, moments of sadness, moments of anger, moments of, you know, you may be feeling fine at some, you know, some moments, but then all of a sudden you may feel a sudden influx of, you know, anger or hurt or pain. But you're going through a grieving process. And I feel like that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that that's something you can't rush. You can't put a time frame on. You can't put stipulations on. You have to, I feel like, let it flow naturally. But along with letting it flow naturally, you still need to be intentional. I feel like take control of your grief process. Don't let it take control of you.
Yeah.
So, you know, and the restoration process is not easy, but, you know, we're living testimonies that it can be done. It has been done, and you can come out better than you even were before if you trust God and trust the process. And, you know, it's our passion to teach people that process, not necessarily even to teach, but we say what, coach people
like
along
mentor,
the process.
mentor. Yeah, because a lot of people, they have, I'd say they have good intentions. So you might talk to somebody like your friends or parents or whoever, and I'm not gonna say nothing about them in a negative way. They might have good intentions, right? But sometimes you gotta seek like an outside third party that doesn't have anything to gain from, you know, just being real with you and telling you the truth about what needs to be told the truth about. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes your family, they have ties to you, so they want to see what's best for you. They saw you grow up from a little baby to the grown person that you are. There's ties there. You know what I'm saying? There's ties there, and they have. I'm sure they got all the best intentions in the world, but sometimes they don't necessarily give the best advice, and sometimes they do. You know what I'm saying? But I really honestly believe that it's beneficial to get the help.
Yes.
You know, get the help, because we, you know, did the counseling.
Don't try to do it alone.
Yeah, we did the counseling. We went to the seminars, things like that, you know, and it made a huge difference.
We got the books.
We got the all
videos,
of that. Yeah, it made a huge difference. We had the DVDs, all that. It made a huge difference, you know. So I'm like,
shout out to Jimmy Evans.
Yeah, definitely. Jimmy Evans, he does his thing. Shout out to Pastor Spencer.
Yes. First Lady Spencer.
Yeah, all of that. Definitely.
We created I guess, did we create it? But, you know, we had our own little village.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yep. So let me, one thing that you will leave I'd say the injured spouse, because it could be a man or a woman. One thing that you could leave the injured spouse with, I say from your personal experience, moving past that. Okay, you already know your spouse is working on making, you and your spouse working on making things better. You guys are in a good space, you know. So moving forward, what is one thing that you have learned from your own personal experience that you could share with the spouse, either male or female, that has, you know, that's dealing, that, you know, has to move forward, or, you know, in the relationship after infidelity? What's one thing you could share from your own personal experience?
So, of course, the number one, besides trusting God, you know, like, that's given. That's the number one, trust God.
Yeah. But
I would say definitely a big one is taking it one day at a time. Because I've noticed that if you really think about it, like, oh, you know, this is the way I'm feeling. I'm gonna feel like one, because, you know, like we said, feelings change from day to day, even from moment to moment sometimes. And during this process, your feelings are gonna be constantly up and down, up and down. So if you allow those times, those moments when you're in, I call it like a crisis moment or whatever, or a flashback moment, whatever. You're gonna, if you think about, that's how you're gonna be feeling for the rest of whatever. Because there were times that I felt like that, like this is how it's gonna be for, you know, for the rest of my life. Like, it's very discouraging. So I would really say to just take it one day at a time. Allow, ask God every single day, every single morning that you get up to help you that day. Don't think about yesterday. Don't think about tomorrow. His word does say his word does say, tomorrow has enough problems of its own. Something like that. Okay, it says something along those lines. Which I get what I'm saying. Just take it one day at a time. And I feel like because when you do that, it's more so like, okay, placing brick on top of brick versus trying to just dump a whole bunch of bricks on a situation and thinking that, okay, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
Don't even do that to yourself. Allow yourself just one day at a time because you can't handle that. That's too much stress to put on one person. So I would just definitely say take it one day at a time and allow you've chosen to forgive. Y'all on the restoration journey. So you got to be all in too. If you've chosen to forgive, you can't, of course you're going to have moments, but I would just really say take it one day at a time and don't keep allowing setbacks.
Okay. Yeah, and I say this, so I'll share from my personal perspective as the offender. I'm going to say, do the hard work of understanding and learning yourself, because there's a reason, you know what I'm saying? Oftentimes we might try to be like, oh, well, some people make it, it's different reasons. Some people make excuses, some people do whatever, blame the other person like, oh, well, if they was giving me this, whatever, which is absolutely wrong. You have to take accountability for your actions, but do the hard work of understanding who you are as a person, right? Because when you start understanding who you are and uncovering yourself, then you start to see like your own flaws. You know what I'm saying? Because regardless of whatever, if you're in a relationship, a committed relationship, there's no reason or no type of excuse that you could give for cheating, because you made the commitment to that person. So if you don't want to be in a committed relationship, choose not to be in a committed relationship, right?
Exactly.
So when you make that decision, but you choose to act as if you're not committed, you have to ask yourself, well, why am I not committed to this relationship? Why did I make this commitment, but I'm not committed to the relationship? And uncover that, it could be whatever. It might be past hurts that you're dealing with. It might be self-confidence. It might be a bunch of, who knows what it is, right? But you got to uncover that, because if you don't uncover it and you don't find out why, then you're, I'm going to say, more susceptible to repeating the action, or, repeating the action.
Yeah.
So you got to do that work of understanding and learning yourself and just becoming a more whole person. I'm going to say becoming a whole person altogether, because a lot of time we get into relationships, we might be acting from a deficit or working from a deficit, meaning that we are not the full person that God has made us, or the full person that God has intended us to be. And we can't operate in a relationship like that. It's always going to be some type of issue, because at the end of the day, we're going to be looking to physical human to meet the needs that's inside of us that only God can meet. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand who we are, understand why we do what we do, and if it could be like, it could be temptations, or it could be, you just got to know who you are. You know what I'm saying? You just got to know who you are, because it could be that you might not be ready for marriage. You know what I'm saying? And it might not be what you want. You might have got married for the wrong reasons. And I'm not going to tell you to get divorced, but it's better for you to divorce than to, step outside your marriage and hurt the other person because you're selfish, or because you're self-centered, and that's not what you want to do. So you really need to dig deep and discover who you are. And, if you made the commitment, like, stick with it. If you need help, counseling or whatever it is, get that. But you made a commitment to that person, and there's no reason why you shouldn't hold to that commitment. 100%. And also, you made a commitment to God too. So even greater than the commitment that you made to your spouse, which is a huge one, you made a commitment to God. He sees everything that you do. So if you're not ready, I'm telling you right now, do not make that commitment, because you are committing to God that you're going to be faithful.
I think a lot of people don't really sit with that before they get married. They don't really consider the weight of that.
Yeah.
Because people think, oh, I'm getting married. I'm saying I do to the person I love, in front of my family and friends. But more than anything, you're making a commitment to God. The creator of marriage, the creator of everything. You're making a commitment to him, a covenant. So, infidelity is way beyond you hurting your spouse. It's way beyond that. It's people don't realize, like, you literally have broken a covenant that you made to God. So it's heavy. You know?
For real.
And I think if more people thought about that before, not like I said, none of us are perfect. There are plenty of things that if we thought about, the fact that we're sinning before God, we wouldn't do it. But this is just one of those things where it's really heavy. Like you literally took an oath. So yeah.
I want to say another thing too, just moving forward, I say for the offender, like always stay on guard, because the enemy, he's going to try you. It's not going to ever be like, oh, well, you are doing the right things and you're going to be, think about it. If you're doing the right thing, he's going to try you even more. Like he's really going to be coming for you because he wants you to fall again. And I ain't even gonna say it's easier to fall. It's easier to fall again if you haven't done the work and understanding why you fell in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Then you just like, well, I'm good. No, you're not good. You need to understand why, and also you need to stay guarded. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it might be you can't have no female friends. It might be you can't, or male friends or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It might be you can't have no type of, like, I'm gonna say well, I'm not gonna say no personal conversations, but maybe for some people that might be. Yeah, for some people that might be what it is. Like you can't have no personal conversation.
What is
you
it
know
for
what I'm
you?
saying?
What is it for you that you feel like you have to work extra hard? Not extra hard, but you really know you need to be guarded in this area.
I say relationships with women, because I never had like just a casual relationship with women before. I've never had that. Like just casual friendships, I've never had that. So that's something I don't do. I like if it's outside of like family or whatever, like I'll keep it cordial level, but I don't be like texting and think I don't do all that, especially not no single woman. That's just me. That's something I choose to do. Just to stay on guard and stay ready. So I might have like casual conversations in passing, things of that nature, but it's not oh, we're about to be friends, stuff like that. So, I mean, hey, that's just what I chose to do,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we hope that you guys enjoyed this episode of Raw Talk. We hope and really pray that you guys are committed to doing the work to save your marriage, because the enemy is after marriages. He's after families.
Yeah, definitely.
He's after our children, and he knows the number one way to get to our children is to break down the foundation of a secure and loving home, where they're seeing that unit relationship, where they're seeing, a strong mother, strong father, a strong husband, strong wife together, and really, doing the things. But, we're not going to let him win.
No,
we're not gonna let him win. We're gonna really do what we need to do to help you guys, as you guys do what you need to do to help yourselves.
Yeah. Remember empathy. As you move forward, as you go throughout, remember empathy. You know what I'm saying? Because this episode is brought to you by EXCELCARE by Divine. Administrator Diane Brown and her team are committed and dedicated to excellence. They provide IV therapy, wound care, diabetic care, medication management, and many other home health care services. Contact EXCELCARE by Divine for all your home health care needs. The phone number is 770-443-CARE. Again, 770-443-CARE. Now back to our episode. Empathy and communication, and keeping God first. Just remember to do those things. It's going to make a huge difference in relationship.
You definitely have to communicate during the process.
Yeah, definitely. And just learn how to communicate effectively. Yeah, absolutely. And empathy, put yourself in the other person's shoes. Like if that was you, how would you feel? But you guys can do it. That's one thing that I really want to stress. You all can do it. We're no different than you guys. We're human beings just like you all. We had the same experience that you guys did, and we are better now than we were before. You know what I'm saying? So it's hope. It's hoping that I'm telling you, man. Just make sure you gotta do the work to get it done, and you can.
Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm Shatima.
And I'm Jason.